Good afternoon. My name is Alena Shautsova. I am an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. In today's video, I would like to talk to you again about public charge. But this video is about how the public charge rule is going to apply to applicants for United States visas. I received many inquiries about if people who are applying for visas are going to be subject to public charge rule. And I have an answer for you. Yes. Those who are applicants for immigrant and sometimes non-immigrant visas, those people will be subject to this rule. How exactly is going to happen? Well, basically, Department of State developed and published just a couple of days ago new questionnaire. It's called Public Charge Questionnaire Form DS5540. This is the form that now a person who is filing for a visa, all immigrant visas and some non-immigrant visas, will have to submit. We're going to go over this form in detail, but this is what I want to say about non-immigrant visas. Let's say tourist visas. The rule published by Department of State states that there is no definite requirement for those who are applying for non-immigrant visas to submit this questionnaire, but a consular officer may require it if he or she is not satisfied with the presented explanations and documentation about how a person is going to be self-sufficient in the United States. It means that effectively, those who are filing for non-immigrant visas may be required to submit this form as well. Tourist visas, student visas, exchange visas, J1s, M visas, and so on. So now, immigrant visas. Who is subject to this rule? Well, family-based immigration, of course. Diversity visa applicants. Those who won a lottery, they will be subject to this questionnaire as well. And of course, other categories except for those who are exempt. So now let's go over the form 5540, that you can basically Google it and find it online to see what it is. Well, the part number 1, it's information about you and your legal name. Then we go part number 2. Right away, there is a question about your health. Do you currently have health insurance coverage in the United States? I would say that most applicants will answer no. So then there is a question, will you be covered by health insurance in the United States within 30 days of your entry into the United States? If you answered yes, identify the specific health insurance plan and date coverage will begin. So here it's basically those who have family members who are sponsoring them, and those family members have health insurance. They will have to show that they are able to add you to their plan. Or you can purchase health insurance as it was specified by the government before. You can purchase a health insurance plan to satisfy this requirement. But basically, if you don't have health insurance, now you may be found, most likely will be found, to be likely to become a public charge in the United States. Part 3, your household size. And here, the government of the United States would like to know about list the expected members of your household in the United States. Basically, everybody who's going to be living in the household in the United States with you, including name, age, relationship to your current job, United States citizens or not. Was he or she on active duty other than training in the U.S. Armed Forces or already reserve while receiving public benefit? All right, so expected members of your household in the United States. Very interesting question, because basically sometimes people don't really, let's say your daughter is living with her boyfriend and you're going to be staying in their house. Now you would have to disclose that she has a boyfriend and he's living in the house, and so on and so forth. So possibilities are endless, I guess. Your assets, resources, and financial status. List below all U.S. federal tax returns you have filed within the last 3 years and attach your IRS transcript for your most recent U.S. federal tax return. So I understand that most people will not have that because they haven't worked in the United States and haven't filed taxes. But then there is a question. Did you work in the United States in the last 3 years but not file a U.S. federal tax return? Yes or no? Basically, they're looking for those who worked in the United States, let's say on a tourist visa, and didn't file the tax returns, I guess. Because I can't really explain it other ways. Or probably maybe people who qualified for a waiver and they basically received a waiver, and that's why they traveled outside of the United States, and now they're filing for an immigrant visa. So I guess those questions really tailored for that group. Then there are questions about your income. What is your current yearly compensation in US dollars? As you can imagine, for the most countries in the world, that compensation will be very low compared to even minimum wage in the United States. List below any income not listed above. Let's say income from rent, stock dividends, foreign pension, child support, and so on. So they would like to know about all sources of income that you have. Then they ask you to list your assets and liabilities, of course. List your liabilities and or debts in the table below. It means that potentially, if you have a judgment in your country against you, you should list that. If you haven't paid taxes, you should list that, and things like that. Then they ask you about your usage of public benefits in the past. Part 5. Your education and skills. They would like to know what the highest level of education you hold, what licenses you have, professional licenses, who issued those licenses, and the expiration date for that. And then the page number 4, the form consists of 4 pages, basically asks for would like to verify if you submitted the information accurately, if you use the translator, and who prepared the form for you. And now here it's very important that if you did use a translator and there was somebody who was helping you, those people will identify themselves. It's extremely important because on the same page there is a warning about criminal penalties in case you submit wrong information. Plus, if you submit wrong information, even if you didn't submit it on purpose, you can be subject to misrepresentation or fraud bar from coming to the United States, forever bar. That's a very it's a bar that you do not need. In other words, if someone else helped you to fill out this paperwork, that person has to put their name on that paperwork, because if there is a mistake and this person did not identify themselves, it will be very hard for you to argue that it was not your mistake. Okay, so that's very important. So basically that's additional questions that most applicants for immigrant visas and some non-immigrant visas will have to fill out. The health insurance issue is the big issue. Members of the expected members of your household in the United States, that's an issue that I'm not really comfortable with, because that's sort of vague and prejudicial in some sort, in some sense. Assets, resources, liabilities, that's a very interesting situation, liabilities, and basically education and skills. So now, if the person is found to be a public charge or likely to become a public charge, the person will be denied visa into the United States. And it's very important to review this questionnaire and prepare for it, prepare for those answers, because those public charge denials have been happening already, and now I anticipate them to just skyrocket after this particular ruling. And you can read more about the public charge, new public charge rule on our website, www.shautsova.com. Thank you.